What even is SuperMega? I actually don't know. Just seems like a gang of rapists.
Don sexually assaulted me.
When I was 15, I was raped.
In college, at a party, I was raped.
Psychopaths.
But to Matt and Ryan, the N-word is Chuck E. Cheese's middle name.
Matt offered to pay for me to live somewhere. I immediately said no.
And people with borderline personality disorder.
Hey, Matt said on the podcast that he's gonna take away your fucking lithium. When I was fired, Jim blamed my BPD on why I hate him.
I guess they make videos or something? I don't know. Did chat already tell me 2 new videos? Are you serious? Ryan and Matt! Oh shit! The guys who were accused have uploaded their responsione. The misgendering thing. He just made up that it was misgendering. He didn't know. The person he called a dude and called a guy goes by dude or guy. Here's the thing, Jerky. I don't know if you're saying to watch the video or if you're saying like, watch it. Watch it. Watch out, boy. Watch it. Watch your mouth. Both go in a bit on Leighton. Incredible. The guy's boyfriend was gender fluid and goes by all pronouns, which is why Leighton heard him refer to his partner with multiple pronouns in different ways. And Leighton didn't check or ask. He must have just heard him refer to his partner with multiple pronouns and assumed that meant he must be misgendering sometimes, but he wasn't, because the partner's gender fluid. And goes by all. Damn, what an ugly bitch, must be trans. Nice, this is progress, this is inclusion. Thank you, Leighton, very cool. As an appetizer, okay, we'll appetize, let me appetize you, hold up. Leighton posted a screenshot of some text on Twitter and said, during my stream, I told a story of how I felt my ex-bosses misgendered someone. Felt they misgendered them. Oh, you felt that was happening. You didn't guess that was happening. You felt the misgendering happened. Someone behind their back at the office. I had no idea that this person identifies as gender fluid. I was also unaware that they use he, she, they, it pronouns. I just made shit up and guessed. I didn't know, though. Ignorance is my strength. It wasn't my place to assume someone's gender and pronouns. I should have checked with this person before I spoke to easily clarify their feelings. You just made shit up, dude. You literally just made shit up. You're apologizing for hurting them or, messing with them. But what you should apologize for is making shit up. You have now been caught making shit up and admitted to it. Bro, the most important thing is there is zero excuse for anyone to try to find this person and direct any harassment. The most important thing about my making shit up is that there is zero excuse for anyone to try to find this person and direct any harassment towards them. Why would they? Why the fuck would they? I told that story as an example of how I witnessed people at the Plex talk about other queer people. What, referring to them how they're happy to be referred to? Nice. And I purposefully didn't say this person's name to protect their identity. I'm absolutely heartbroken that I've hurt this person. Oh, so Leighton did hurt them by just lying about them. If you're ignorant, okay, I consider not knowing something and claiming something about that happened as fact. I consider that to be a lie, a form of lying. If you know that you don't know because you haven't confirmed it, and you say something is absolutely true, you've lied. They do not deserve any stress, harassment, or negative attention from this. I only shared that story believing they were a victim! Holy shit. Holy fuck! I read this earlier, but it hits different. I'm gonna enter the noodle zone. That's how you know it's serious. Let me copy my Firefox source. Siffy, the twist is, they actually wrote entertainment on the sticky notes. Yo, I believe this person was a victim, and therefore would be fine with me just making shit up that makes people they don't like look bad or something. I don't know. What if that person is still dating Matt or Ryan or whoever Leighton accused? What if they're like still in a relationship or something? Can you imagine? That's definitely not true. It would be worse. It would be more hardcore if it was like that. It would be way worse.
I wanted to start.
It would be undodgeable damage. So this is Ryan's response to all these accusations. I have to admit, with the sheer volume of shit I've looked at, I don't remember exactly what's attributed to Ryan and what's attributed to Matt. However, Ryan's video is, 10 minutes? 10 minutes, a little bit under. And Matt's video is like 50 minutes. Whew. So hopefully they'll address exactly what was said about them. If we watch both of these and then there are bits missing, we can figure out who those bits that are missing were attributed. All right, let's go.
I wanted to start off by apologizing for this response coming so late. Before you watch this video or any other video dealing with this subject, it is important you read Lex's Twitter post and go...
Oh no! Yeah, if you read Lex's Twitter post, you'll disregard anything she says and think she's insane. Do you think... Wait, dude, there are so many layers to this. Is he saying that because it's the right thing to say? Or is he saying it because he knows if you read that, she looks insane?
On the night of May 25th, Lex reached out to me through text. They wanted to talk about something. I said, okay. She called. I answered. And she began to confide in me about a sexual assault she experienced by our mutual friend, Don, who was our channel artist at the time. I took these allegations seriously and expressed my support for Lex, and I asked her permission to talk to Don about the sexual assault directly. Unfortunately, my words ended up ringing hollow as Matt and I continuously tiptoed around the subject. We didn't expect this from Don. Nobody expects their friend to do something this serious to another friend. We selfishly waited until we felt comfortable.
He's tiptoeing right now. He's implied that Don did it, but he's not saying what it is, and he's not flat out saying Don did this. He's letting it rest on him having been accused.
To have this discussion with Don instead of having the victims back immediately. Matt and I did eventually sit down with Don to have this discussion.
So referring to her as the victim is implying that it's true or he believes it. But you gotta, bro, is he gonna pussy out? Is he gonna open himself to legal trouble potentially and not go in hard at the same time and pussyfoot? Is he gonna do both?
He explained away the assault, excusing it as a miscommunication of boundaries in an intimate moment. And we told Don if he truly believed that, if he truly believed that it was a boundary miscommunication, then he should apologize to Lex directly. This was, of course, the wrong decision.
Yeah, because it's not your place. It's not your place to talk to a contractor like that.
The onus on Lex to have a discussion with their abuser, which is a ridiculous ask for someone to make, and was a bad decision on both Matt and I's account, and we handled that very poorly. It's stupid that we even thought that that was a good idea. In reality, it's just dismissive and wrong.
To talk to him and tell him he should apologize based on what he said. I agree that you shouldn't be telling that to someone. I'm so confused at what he thinks he should have done. I guess I need to watch more. So if you're asking what exactly is the guy accused of, he's accused of violently grabbing the head or neck of a woman and forcing her head onto his genitals, and she had to use physical force to stop him from successfully orally raping her. That's her claim. His claim is she agreed to oral sex and he pushed her head down a bit during the act. She said no, and then he stopped.
We ended up cutting ties with Don, both personally and professionally. We cut all contact with him. We also updated those who we knew that were working with him of the situation. This should have been done from the very start, and I regret that we handled this in...
This isn't what Lex asked for. Oh no. Oh no. Whoa. Siffy, he said if the accused's account, which he said was just a barrier issue, he said if that is true, then apologize. However, I don't think it's the place of the person hiring a contractor to act as, I don't know, what, a parent? What is the role? Why would he say that when he has such a horrible story on the other side? Because he clearly didn't believe Lex. Very clearly. Also, so far, my man is still going to be in trouble. He's still going to be in a huge amount of trouble. Because he hasn't said that we should have come out and accused him of rape publicly. He said updating the employees who work with Don should have been done faster. So far, he's still on the hook. He hasn't done what would be needed to appease Lex yet.
There's no excusing the lack of tact that was used to handle this. Lex should have felt safe, and I am sorry to Lex for...
Oh! I'm sorry to Lex for pause, look to the side. Let's pay a lot of attention.
Felt safe, and I am sorry to Lex for making them feel like they weren't heard at that time.
Sorry for making you feel like you weren't heard. Oof! Roblox death sound, please. Roblox death sound, please.
Could have been handled so much better, and should have been handled so much better, especially since Lex was the one who trusted us with her story and her trauma. There's no excusing the way Matt and I handled that situation. If we were to do it right, we would have fired Don immediately. We ended up doing that, but it took us too long.
His apology is we did nothing wrong, we just didn't do it fast enough. That doesn't respond to what she said. Oh no.
And that is the fact that I had inappropriate communications with fans while in a long-term committed relationship. While technically these actions are between two consenting adults.
Bro, that's his entire Lex section. This is semi-based. This is half-based. Because this is a huge, like, fuck you to Lex. This is a massive fuck you to Lex. Only implicitly suggesting that what she said is true by describing her as the victim, talking about how is like if the accused's account is true, he should apologize, and keeping things a bit flubby and wiggly. And what he apologized to her for was not making her feel heard. Whew.
It's clear that instead of being responsible with the SuperMega brand, I abused my position and my power for selfish self-indulgence. I know that there is no sorry to rectify the damage I've done with this, and not because of...
Sorry, to be clear, unless he brings Lex back up again, less than half of this is about Lex. Yeah, Bunny, the way he describes it isn't... By characterizing his communication with fans that way, hasn't he just described it as grooming? Like he's characterized what he did as grooming.
I'm sorry for how this has affected everyone that was within the vicinity of this situation. My ex, my friends, my family, my employees, and everyone in between who trusted me deserved a lot better. I have irreparably hurt and damaged all of those involved who were not deserving of it. Who had no idea. I caused damage to people, and I can't change.
Caused damage? Does he just mean the fans? He's talking about everything now, right? Is he suggesting that he caused damage through negligence? I don't think it's his responsibility. Like, what training does he have for dealing with accusations of sexual assault in a corporate environment, for example? What expectation could you reasonably have? And if his conclusion is that he did the right thing, just not fast enough, if his conclusion is, which he said, he's saying he did the right thing, he just didn't do it soon enough. No one else has come out to claim that Don hurt them, so he didn't allow anything more to happen. Irreparable damage? Nah. Implicitly, yes, giveth. But I think there's wiggle room. It implicitly suggests that. However, you can just be like, oh, I'm calling her the victim because her role is the one saying that someone did this. Right.
I want to apologize to everyone I hurt in this situation because, again, they did nothing wrong. They trusted me, and I broke that trust. Since this is my final video, this next topic...
Since this is my final video! He's peacing out? Wait, he's saying I did the right thing, I just did it too slowly. Maybe I believe her, maybe I don't. I'm just really sorry for not making her feel heard. But I'm peacing out. This is my final video. Is it his final video on this or ever? That sounded like ever to me. He said, since this is my final video.
Since this is my final video, this next topic is really the only thing I care to defend myself on.
He says, since this is my final video, bro.
Recently on a live stream, it was mentioned that I would regularly bring up Daniel's suicide in a disrespectful and callous manner.
Daniel is the friend of Matt and Ryan who killed himself. They were accused by Leighton of using his name as a punchline around the office when suicide came up.
To address these allegations head on about me making fun of the suicide of my best friend, I just want to state that it's just untrue. The person making these claims never knew Daniel. They definitely were not a part of the group that experienced the trauma of losing him. Honestly, it is disrespectful to bring him up as a weapon. I felt like he was just brought into the situation for drama's sake.
They turned Daniel into a ghost blade. It would have been... Dude, he could have done this way more based. I am going to say that I believe he didn't make those jokes. I'm reading his vibe right now. I think he didn't make those jokes as Leighton claimed. And I think probably what happened is Leighton is more socially stunted than me. Leighton thought them going, oh, here you go, kid. Oh, you tried to kill yourself? Here's our merch. Don't you think we're cool? He thought that was them making fun of the kid. So his judgment of jokes is just under absolute question. Sus. Leighton doesn't understand jokes. I believe they mentioned Daniel, and because Leighton is such a dumb fuck, he thought whatever they said could be classified as a joke at Daniel's expense. I don't believe Ryan joked about his dead friend. However, even if he didn't, he should say he did, and then say, and Daniel would have laughed, because he's not a pussy like you. That would have been way more based, even if it's not true.
I have done enough shit to tarnish my image, but I will not...
Dude, can you imagine if the last 5 seconds of this video is, and one final message for Leighton, I will eat your skin. And then the video ends.
And let someone talk lies about the way I talked or treated my trauma in regards to Daniel. The sole focus of all of this should have been about the support that Lex needed.
There's Leighton, there's one more anus to measure.
And about how we mishandled the situation. All of the attention should have been on Lex. Why Daniel was brought into it, I have no idea. I just wish personally he was left out of this.
Ryan, you pussy, you know exactly why he was scattershotting everything possible at you. You know why. Come on.
I want to end this by giving one last apology to everyone who was affected by my actions. Lex, you deserved a lot better. As I said before, there is no excuse. I was simply a coward. I want to also give an apology to all the SuperMega employees who trusted me. I misused that trust.
I want to apologize to the employees who trusted me. I'm sorry I let that dirty bitch into your office to live.
And there's nothing I can do to change this. And there's nothing I...
True, if this is his last video, is this also the announcement? Wait, is this going to be how everyone they hired finds out they're now jobless?
can do to repair the jobs that are lost because...
Oh! Let's rewind.
That is not fair. And I'm a piece of shit for that, and I'm sorry. And there's nothing I can do to change this, and there's nothing I can do to repair the jobs that are lost because of me, and the relationships that are changed and lost because of me, and the people that are hurt because of me.
Does he mean because he's piecing out of videos? Does he mean the effect he had on Lex's? Lex alleged that his behavior affected her career. He could be referring to that. But I think he's saying, because he said this is his last video, I think this is the announcement that everyone's fucking fired.
I have obviously been irresponsible with the platform I was given. So as it stands, I don't deserve one. Again, I want to...
No! This is the world's most cringe pussy man. No, he did the 2 IQ YouTube commenters who's like, you don't deserve your platform right now until you get better. But he's saying, I don't deserve my platform right now. I take it back. He's not even 1/8 based. He wouldn't, if being based was a Native American tribe, he would not be allowed to set foot on the reservation. Okay? Not even 1/16 based.
Apologize to everyone I affected with my actions. It was truly selfish, and it's unforgivable. Thank you for listening.
All right, there's Ryan. That was the 10-minute apology. Now we're on the, well, it doesn't say apology. That was the 10-minute response. Now we're on the big meat, the big 48-minute meat boy.
I want to start this video out by apologizing for the delay. This is a very serious matter.
Yeah, he looks ill. This looks like more than lack of sleep or something. He looks ill, sick. He's got those Ela Klein horsewoman eyes, creeping me out.
You probably also noticed that Ryan and I are both doing separate videos. This is because we each have specific points that we want to say. And
yeah, and Ryan just has a lot less.
I want to address everything that's been said.
And I want to make sure you all understand that my asshole is both wider and deeper than Ryan's, and so I am going to be removing him from the channel.
For those who don't know, Lex is an old friend of ours who recently released a statement on Twitter, as well as a YouTube video detailing a sexual assault incident that involved our former channel artist.
Yo, right after recording this, he went to do his interview on the Soft White Underbelly channel.
I'm going to go ahead and read what Lex posted on Twitter so you can get her words verbatim on everything that happened.
Stop.
And I'm going to try to supply as much additional context as I can.
No, he's going to read her words verbatim? Does he mean that? He's going to read her statement verbatim? What, even including making her sound like a moron by reading her mistakes? Dude, this is this is going to be good.
In November 2021, I was sexually assaulted by Dawn on the first night that we had both met while dating. We were both staying at Matt Watson's house. He attempted to physically force me to give him oral sex, and the only reason it didn't happen was because I was forced to physically resist him when he didn't listen to my verbal commands to stop.
He corrected it. He didn't read it verbatim.
I waited to confront Dawn until Creator Clash 2022, where I could keep it offline and then never see him again. But then Dawn was invited to Matt's house.
Man, Dawn raped this dude too. That's what he's been busy doing for the last week. He only just managed to crawl away from out underneath Dawn's folds.
Before I moved to LA to stay in the house that they used as an office, aka the SuperMegaplex. I called them before I got there to tell them what happened so I could avoid being around Dawn, but they gave me mixed messages. Ryan wanted support, and 2 days later, Matt, a phone call where he went into lawyer mode and promptly explained to me that technically Dawn isn't an employee, so we don't have to do anything, how SuperMega is his magnum opus, and how this would be very bad for them.
Ooh, is Matt gonna admit to this?
If anyone found out. Days later, they talked to Dawn privately at Matt's house, where they proceeded to explain to try and get his side of his story, left the conversation with Dawn saying he didn't know what he did wrong, and Matt and Ryan deciding for me that Dawn and I just needed to talk things out in person. The day before I get to their office, Matt texted me and told me he sent Dawn there, and I had to hide in the bathroom for him to leave. During my time at the office, every action was held against us, me and Rav, in silence until they felt appropriate to use them to kick us out, even though those things consisted of leaving to Tennessee.
How is Babby formed? How is Babby formed? If he's going to correct her typos, correct the pacing and grammar here as well, man.
While I visited my mom for her birthday, even though I bought a car, leaving town to work, Rav's partner having attempted to take their life soon after I arrived, and me still being disturbed by what happened with Dawn and their reaction to it, were all held against us, and they used it to gaslight us into being framed as lazy when we were working harder than normal to get the less work done due to having no place to work. Any action that wasn't looking for a place or going to see one, aka being faster to going away, was seen as bad when there was no sense of urgency placed upon us to begin when we arrived. Staying at the office was uncomfortable as they did not want us to be there after this event, and we ended up homeless as a result of them icing us out and refusing to communicate to us almost completely despite staying at their job, even about crucial things like concerns about us living there or when they wanted us gone. Matt and Ryan instead delegated this responsibility to their employees, who we saw as friends, asking us to help them with chores around the house until they had them correspond instead about moving out, upon which we realized what was going on and saw ourselves out before we got kicked out. After this, we had no communication with them. We were robbed on the way out of and back from LA. We lost almost everything we had, and we couldn't get our belongings from the office while living in the car and from hotel to hotel for a while because they weren't talking to us. I felt like I couldn't talk about what was going on with me for the past year because I'd have to explain things that Matt and Ryan clearly didn't want people to know.
She said clearly, but then she never even said they told her not to talk about it, right? When I was editing the video, I watched the whole video of hers again. I don't think she ever says that they said they didn't want her to talk about it.
So I want to begin by offering Lex the deepest and most sincere apology because
Perhaps even deeper than mine or Ryan's anus. The deepest topology. Oh, the magnum opus thing. Right. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I also want to state that we never took any action to cover up a sexual assault, and we never tried to cover Dawn from any consequences. And I'll
Brother, the other 44 minutes don't matter. You're making no one happy now. Except me, that's funny. Yeah. I get it, if she's trying to imply him being upset about that happening, potentially affecting their show means they don't want it to get out, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's like, don't let this out, whatever. It means he doesn't want it to affect the show, right? They got rid of Dawn, which is going to affect the show, the series, the Let's Play series, whatever. But you can be concerned that when it's out, which you're fine with, that might affect you negatively. But you could also hope that it wouldn't. I don't think them complaining about the potential for it to affect what they're doing with SuperMega, I don't think that's the same as being like, I really need this not to leak. That's more like, fuck, this fucking happened and it's going to affect me. Which you can say is very selfish. I don't think that's the same as applying pressure to someone to not talk about it. You get what I'm saying?
So I want to begin by offering Lex the deepest and most sincere apology, because Ryan and myself did not handle the situation well. There are a lot of ways that we could have handled the situation better.
Could have done it better? Okay.
And we didn't. I also want to state that we never took any action to cover up a sexual assault, and we never tried to cover Dawn from any consequences. And
Straight up, we didn't try to cover it in any way. We never tried to protect Dawn. Oof.
So on May 19th, 2022, after returning home from Creator Clash, I got a call from Dawn in which he was crying, saying that him and Lex had just broken up. He told me he was essentially stuck in Florida because he's from Germany and he had no money and didn't know what to do. And at this time, I didn't know any specifics of what had happened with the breakup. He mentioned to me that they had been distant and then ended up just breaking up. That was the extent of my knowledge on the split at the time. Feeling bad for Dawn, I offered to get him a one-way plane ticket to LA to come crash at my place.
This, what's the term? Lines up. This actually works. Because Lex talked about how she was upset that Matt was asking for details, right? I don't think Lex ever confirmed that she told them what the fuck happened or with the extent of what she actually told them. So what Matt's saying here actually potentially lines up with what Lex is saying.
He took me up on the offer, and on May 23rd, he flew out to LA. When Dawn arrived, he cried to me about how heartbroken he was, and the whole time I was none the wiser on what had actually taken place between him and Lex, and if I had known, I would not have invited him out to LA to stay with me. I don't remember exactly, but I think Rav was the one who told me initially on my balcony one night, and he told me that Dawn had sexually assaulted Lex. This was something that I did not expect from Dawn, and truth be told, I had a bit of a hard time accepting it. I soon asked Dawn about this. What he told me was he chalked it up to basically a misunderstanding in the bedroom. At this time, I did not grasp how serious this situation was, and obviously he did not either. So Lex gave Ryan a call soon after to explain what had happened, and she told him that Dawn had sexually assaulted her. I then had a phone call with Lex shortly after on May 27th, where she detailed...
So I got it wrong before. This is the part that Lex complained about, where she was upset they were asking for details. But it sounds like they were asking for details because they had actually heard fuck all, and they'd only heard secondhand that anything serious happened. They'd only heard from... What was Rav her partner at that moment? I don't remember. They'd only heard from Rav that it was brutal sexual assault. We don't even know what detail Rav went into. And they'd heard from Dawn that it was a misunderstanding. They hadn't heard from her. So guess what? They went to the person impacted and asked her, and she complained about that.
I want to state that from the beginning, when she told me, I fully believed and have supported Lex, which I stressed to her.
Oh no. I fully believed. Call him a rapist then. I dare you. Make a statement. Say Dawn is a rapist. Say it. If you fully believe her. What are the implications? Wait, he fully believes her that Dawn is a violent rapist, or like a violent would-be rapist who attempted to rape her violently, and Dawn left of his own accord. Is he going to say he kicked Dawn out? Because Lex says that Dawn left of his own accord. So he believes that Dawn is a violent man who will attempt to physically force people to engage in sex acts. didn't kick him out of his house. Is that what we're to believe?
However, I do think that some of the things I said on this call were misinterpreted, and this has zero fault on Lex. This is 100% my fault for poorly articulating my thoughts. I wasn't sure how to talk about this type of situation, and I believe that some of the things...
Yeah, but Bunny, it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do, right?
But I do know that intent does not change how it was interpreted and how Lex felt about it. But I did want to give some more context on that phone call. I told Lex that Ryan and I fully supported her, that we believed her 100%, and that we would be there for her. To be honest, I was terrified of misstepping in this situation due to its sensitive nature and how close it was to home. I was not sure how to navigate it. This was all new territory to me. I asked her a really stupid question because of that. I asked Lex what she wanted me and Ryan to do about the situation, which was an absolutely dumbass thing to ask.
Don't people normally... Hold up! For years and years and years, hasn't the thing been let victims lead how it's dealt with? Isn't that the thing? And it's like called abuse to try and do things on their behalf? Or for them? Hasn't that been wrong?
I meant it from a place of, we want to help and we will do whatever it is you want us to do to make the situation better. I now see that obviously came across as me putting the responsibility of the situation back on the victim, and I feel terrible about that.
You think she would have been happy if you decided to go to the police and then it had to face scrutiny and she had to deal with that? I think she would have been far less happy with them just choosing to go to the police, for example, versus asking her what she wants them to do. This is lose-lose for them. This is lose-lose for Matt and Ryan. There was no way they could have done the right thing because there was no right thing.
My intention was to be helpful, and I went about it very poorly. In Lex's statement, she said that I brought up technicalities over Don's employment, as well as me saying something along the lines of how much it would suck for SuperMega if this got out, and that SuperMega was my magnum opus, and I didn't want anything to ruin that. Over the course of the phone call, we did discuss Don's role with SuperMega, and while I don't recall making any of those specific comments, I do know I brought up our business and how Don's actions might affect that. That was completely wrong of me to do. I never should have brought up anything as trivial as that, while Lex was telling me something very difficult. I was kind of freaking out, and I was thinking out loud. It should not have even been on my mind. And that was selfish of me. What I should have done was just listened and offered support and not question anything. Raven Lex.
I should have just listened, offered support, and not questioned anything. No, she didn't. No, offering support is, again, asking her what she wants you to do, even if you just give options. What I should have done is not questioned anything, including not asked what you wanted. This is schizoid. This is creepy.
Have both mentioned that I've made comments where I've said, well, Don isn't technically an employee, so we don't have to do anything. I don't see the logic in that or why I would have said that, because that's not something I would have said. I think it's more realistic that something was misinterpreted or miscommunicated there.
First thing he says is misinterpreted. He knows Lex is a dumbass. So he's saying it.
Ended the call by voicing complete support for Lex and telling her that Ryan and I were here for her and we would figure out what to do. In hindsight, the answer is obvious and we should have acted immediately, but we didn't.
What's the answer?
For context,
the answer was obvious. What's the answer?
Here are the text messages right before and right after that call, showing that I was supportive. I was not...
I should have listened to her and believed her and never questioned anything. By the way, she's a lying fucking bitch who said we didn't support her. Here are the receipts that show I cared. Holy fuck. What is up with these people? They just go... Bleh! They don't go like, I'm going to debunk and be against her. I'm going to give in. I'm going to grovel on my knees. They do every possible combination at the same time. It's insane.
Completely callous like it was made out to be. And as a side note, I'm hoping...
So he just called her a liar. You just called her a liar. You just called her a liar, effectively.
Hoping that people will not confuse me providing more context where I think it's needed with just getting defensive. To be honest...
What purpose does showing that serve other than to literally defend yourself?
Honest, Ryan and I were scared of this whole situation. We knew that we needed to talk to Don, so me and Ryan organized a meeting with him at our office where we sat him down and confronted him about this. We asked him what had happened that night, and he explained it from his perspective, which was very different from Lex's perspective. We felt a little confused on what had happened that night, as did Rav. Rav was also trying to figure out what had gone down. And at this point, I don't think any of us still were taking it as seriously as we should have been. And that is something that I sincerely regret. Instead, we asked questions and tried to do some detective work and get to the bottom of it, and maybe have Dawn talk to Lex to try to figure out, you know, if this was a misunderstanding, which I now see was an absolutely, you know, terrible, terrible move. Having a victim and an abuser telling them to, you know, maybe to talk to each other, horrible. And that is something that I'm so sorry about, Lex. Here you can see some text messages between myself and Rav, where Rav is saying that he figured out a little more context on the situation at one point.
Wait, what? Wait, what the fuck is this? Gray means it's coming from Rav, yes? Rav, boyfriend of Lex who made the accusation, says, I have more context into the situation now, by the way. He says to Rav, yeah? Rav, boyfriend of Lex, says, yeah, it seems less serious. I could bring you up to speed later when it's just you and I. So Lex's boyfriend was telling SuperMega that it's a less serious thing as well. It wasn't just Dawn, it was Lex's boyfriend talking to Lex, relaying to SuperMega that it's less serious than what people think before Lex called them. This is death. This is death for Lex. I mean, in terms of being able to maintain a tight narrative on who's good and who's bad. Lex's boyfriend made this happen. Rav made this happen. Rav did this. Holy fuck. I wonder if she knows about this Rav text. I bet she doesn't. I bet she doesn't know that Rav was messaging Matt to tell him Lex getting someone attempting to rape her was not that serious. This also potentially implies, oh my fucking god, this is devastation. If she said to Rav, Dawn grabbed me and tried to forcefully facefuck me against my will and I had to fight him off, would Rav had said to SuperMega, I have more context, it seems less serious? No, this suggests that that's not the story she gave to Rav. This suggests that she didn't give that story to Rav, and then she stepped it up. Uh-oh.
Rav did wisen up quicker than Ryan and I did, though.
Rav wisened up about the reality of the situation or about how you need to behave around this hoe? What do you mean?
I think that he took it more seriously. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to July 4th. We had a party at the Super Megaplex, and afterwards, Lex came over to my place to crash for the night. While we were in the living room after we got back, we had a very in-depth conversation about the entire Dawn situation. In this conversation, I sincerely apologized to Lex. I admitted where I was wrong and I took responsibility. I expressed remorse for how I had acted during the situation, and she accepted my apology. This is why.
Oh! Not only the claim that he'd already apologized to her, important, the claim that she accepted his apology. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a trend here. We have Jim saying he asked her for a kiss, and she said, yeah, you can kiss me. Now we have Matt saying he apologized and she accepted the apology. Do you know what accepting an apology means?
I definitely found myself a bit confused as to why there's a notion that I have never addressed this with Lex, because I have. I, however, don't blame...
Just called her a liar, based.
Despite our delayed action on this, I do want to state unequivocally that Ryan and I never made any attempts to cover up a sexual assault or to aid Dawn. In response to what Lex told us, we removed Dawn as our channel artist and we cut contact with him 100%. Personal business, we have not had any communications. And we did not cover this up from other people. For example, I was the one who told Ross over the phone because Ross had a show with Dawn and I felt like he needed to know this.
What the? So they went around. She thinks they didn't do enough, and what they did was systematically try to murder his career by going around accusing him privately to anyone he works with. And she's upset that they didn't do enough to discipline or harm him. That's insane. And she's like, you didn't do enough to get back at him. Also, this is Matt admitting he actively tried to financially harm Dawn. He actively and systematically went around trying to cause as much financial damage to Dawn as possible. Nice video, Matt. Lovely video. Very good. Very cool. Well, at the same time as admitting to that, dropping nukes on Lex. 2 big nukes. Nuke on Rav and nuke on Lex.
However, we weren't like super open about this to people, especially, we didn't say anything to the public about it. We never stated our reasoning for cutting contact with Dawn or removing him as the channel artist because Lex had not publicly talked about this, and she expressed that she did not want this to be a thing that was public.
Yes. This is a good point. She talks in her own video about how she told them she didn't want it spreading around. Holy fuck, yes! At the end of her video, she talks about how she wanted them to make a statement about it and maybe even just say that Dawn raped her or tried to rape her. She said that at the end of her video, but at the beginning of the video, she talks about how she did tell SuperMega she didn't want it to be a big thing. So they did what she told them to. They then went around and snaked out Dawn by trying to tell everyone he works with that he's a rapist privately and not let it be known it's coming from them or whatever. They also obeyed her and didn't make it a big thing publicly. And now she's upset that they didn't do what she asked them not to do. Borderline. Not even once, dog. Not even once.
We felt like it was not our place to address someone else's sexual assault.
No shit! This is what I said. Yeah. It would be fucked of them to, without the alleged victim saying they wanted them to just go, hey, our friend just told us she got raped. Hey guys, tweet. Or at least someone tried to rape her. They'd be torn apart for that. It's like she's setting them up to get torn apart no matter what. Actual sadistic spiderweb weaver.
The last thing that we wanted was to bring attention to something that Lex did not want attention brought to. And while we did remove Don as our channel artist and cut all contact with him, it took longer than it should have. In retrospect, we should have done this immediately when Lex told us, but we were scared of confrontation. The bottom line is it took us longer than it should have, and I just want to extend the biggest apologies to Lex for making her feel...
Again, we did the right thing, it just took a while.
Lex also brought up an instance where she went to go stay at the office and Dawn was there. This was a complete accident and misunderstanding on my end. I did not mean for that to happen, and I take full responsibility for that. I had been fed up with Dawn staying with me, especially after hearing what Lex had told me, and Lex had not arrived in town yet. At the time, I also had 2 or 3 people staying with me on top of Dawn, and I felt really overwhelmed. I had a lot going on in my personal life at the time that was stressing me out. And I sent Dawn to go stay with Rab at the office. I made a mistake where I forgot that I had previously told Lex that she could stay there. And I sent Dawn there to...
Sent Dawn to go stay with Rav, Lex's boyfriend, who didn't then tell Lex that Dawn is there. She had to hear it from these guys. So her boyfriend, who had Dawn sent to stay with him, wasn't the person to inform her that Dawn was there. And Dawn is also messaging SuperMega to tell them it's less serious than he thought what happened to Lex. Oh, she wasn't his girlfriend at that point. Oh! So she told Rav... Okay. My chronology's fucked. So she told Rav that she was diddled, and then they hooked up. She also told Jim that she was diddled, and then they hooked up, but it's bad because they didn't form a relationship afterwards. They just kissed. I don't get it.
As soon as I realized my mistake, I told Donnie I had to leave the office. And for a little more context, here is me having a discussion with Rav where I'm realizing my mistake. I sent Dawn there to get out of my house. I never intended for them to come in contact with each other. As soon
Dawn says, actually, Matt, I'm not really mad at you, but I've got to say this. This is kind of messed up. Wish you told me at least yesterday. I didn't know until a few hours ago. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to scramble around like 5 people right now, trying my best here.
As I realized my mistake, I told Donnie I had to leave the office. And for a little more context,
Rav says, yeah, and I've got enough going on my end to babysit him. Lamau, he'll live. Dude, that's exactly how I felt and why I sent him to the office. When I forgot, I told Lex she could crash there. I felt like I was babysitting him. Uh-oh. And I was mad about what was going on. Yeah, and he's a whole grown-ass man. I still need to talk to Lex. Haven't had a good chance yet. We can't all keep big brothering him forever. Oh, true. I'm sure she would appreciate that. While Rav wasn't her boyfriend at this point, once he was, and presumably they're still on good terms now, if not dating now. I'm not clear on that. Why didn't Rav tell her about this? about them talking about it being a mistake like this?
my
Because she'd at least want to know that these receipts exist.
I also want to address a very large chunk of Lex's video that was focused on her and Rav's time living at our office, aka the SuperMega. Rav was coming to America and he needed somewhere to crash, so we told him he could crash at the SuperMegaplex. And later, when Lex came out to LA, we said that she could crash there as well too. But problems did arise over time. And generally speaking, something I think all four of us can agree on, the thing that really plagued the situation was lack of communication, miscommunication.
How about lack of hygiene?
As time went on and weeks turned into months of them staying at the office, we were unsure of their plans and how motivated they were to actually find a place to move into. They believed that we were ignoring them and acting cold, while we believed they were doing the same thing to us. So it was like a two-way street of awkwardness.
Street of awkwardness.
So it wasn't to come in to hang out, it'd be to get work done. So it definitely seemed a little more clinical. All around, it was a pretty weird vibe, and I think all four of us could have acted more mature during that period, but we failed to communicate, and that is largely on myself and Ryan, because after tensions rose, we honestly didn't really feel like having a conversation. Here's a text from Lex in a group chat.
She says, I've also contributed to not being available, though, because I've tried to stay out of both of your way as much as possible and keep my focus on work. So Lex did share this, which probably came across as fucking off and not wanting to talk to y'all, and I apologize for that. I think I was also trying to be less present because I was worried I was distracting you guys from work a lot of the time at the Plex by being in the way already with me and my stuff, and I didn't want to be any more of a burden than I already felt like. But I think it just made me seem more aloof than anything. I'm sorry we weren't able to talk about it until now. I hate to bring things up this way. I know y'all are busy, so I don't expect to be able to talk in person about anything soon. Also, it's not very inviting if you think someone is seeming antagonistic. I'm glad to be able to talk about it now. I just hope that with the nature of texting seeming rather cold, that what I'm trying to say is coming across as anything but trying to let you know I've not meant to cause any hurt, and I'm sorry if I did. I thought for a second that semicolon was a sign of sudden literacy, and then this car crash happens after it. That seems like, I'm glad to be able to talk about it now, semicolon, new sentence along the same lines, re-expressing the idea. That works, and then... Isn't this one of the messages she says she co-authored with Rav as well? Simplest way to say it, Siffy, is it's a chain. It's a link for related sentences.
And I'm only bringing this up to add context because in her video she states that we iced them out and gave them the cold shoulder, but it was a two-way street and it was miscommunication. I'll just go ahead and read these out to make it easier to digest.
Fuck.
Here's me explaining why we seemed distant at the office, and this seemed to be understood.
Okay, it's different. It's like, oh my god, I'm not going to go into how you use a fucking semicolon. It's not on the same topic, it's closer to meaning the same thing, but expressed slightly different, or an elaboration on the exact specific thing you just said. But there are other ways to use it as well, don't worry. Anyway, is he going to read this out?
By Rav and Lex. I'm not going to read all of this because it is too long and I want to move on.
I'm going to read it then. In terms of not saying hello or goodbye, it really isn't anything more than just spacing out and being wrapped up in our own worlds. Brian and I don't even say hey to each other half the time, to all of us. You guys seem incredibly closed off and quiet, which is totally okay. But when you're being distant and we don't know why, I'm not sure what you expect back from us. Also, like when I read text, a semicolon is shorter than a period. What I'll do is I'll read it with my eyes and read it out loud if there's anything big. I think Lex read all of this. Jim was hard to be able to communicate things for us. Jim had offered to talk to you guys for us since he had already done it in the past. Jim sends his regards. It's in the group chat so we could talk too. You're crashing on my couch, I would talk about it. Okay, there we go. He's apologized.
As time went on, since they were staying at our place of work, our office, we asked our employee Jim to facilitate a conversation between us about when they were planning on leaving. Rav and Lex took this as a slight. After after they made the decision to voluntarily leave the office. We did not throw them out. We did not make them homeless.
Oh, she's a liar. Nice call. Although the thing is, Lex already called herself a liar, right? Because she talked about how they chose to leave, and then she also said they made us homeless. So she agrees with him that they didn't throw her out, but still says they made her homeless because they made her feel like she had to leave because she was gonna get thrown out. Very strange. Very strange. I hope there is an unhinged Lex response.
Here is a text message where they're talking about leaving the office. Rav says, "But yeah, y'all have certainly gone above and beyond with your generosity and allowing us to crash for as long as y'all have, and we'd hate to overstay our welcome any further than we already have. All of our stuff, with the exception of my 2 suitcases in the corner of y'all's living room space, should currently be in the garage, and when we're back, what we can do is move all of our set stuff into a proper storage space under lock and key somewhere away from the office, so as to not keep taking up y'all's workspace. We'll also stop crashing at the office, so no worries on that front either. If y'all have any other concerns, let me know. Thank you for letting us crash for mad long, and sorry for not getting out of y'all's hair sooner." Okay. Lex stated that we did not allow them to come pick their stuff up, which is not true. Here's a text between us on September 4th where she said, "Hey, sorry to bother."
So Lex is a liar, he says. Lex says, "Hey, sorry to bother you. Just wanted to check in to ask if I could grab some of my stuff from the office. We'll be shooting some pics videos today at an abandoned water park a couple hours away. So I wanted to grab my camera and Amazon stuff I got sent there. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure if anyone is there, though. Ended up not coming over when I mentioned it, lol. Would any time today be a good time to stop by and grab some stuff?" You can't ask to pick up your stuff, have someone say that's fine, and then go, "Oops, I didn't pick it up," and then start complaining about them not letting you pick your stuff up, unless it happens a lot of time. Bro, would any time today be a good time to stop by and grab some stuff? Yes. Again, they say yes, you can come pick your stuff. Coordinated with Jim, thank you. I just left a little bit ago. I grabbed everything and threw away a lot of stuff that was in around the garage. Thank you so much for letting us stay here. Hope you're having a good night. She would now, to contest this, have to demonstrate that she never asked before this. I mean, that she did ask before this. If she never asked before this, I guess she's saying, I didn't feel comfortable asking, therefore they were withholding my stuff from us.
I rekindled things with Rav several months later. We spoke about the last summer and how we were all in bad places. Rav and I,
So is this again chatting with Rav behind her back?
Apologized to each other and made up, as well as a little discussion at Creator Clash 2023, which again is why I found myself very confused when Rav said what he did on Twitter recently. And since last summer, I assumed that my relationship with Lex was much better. For example, here's several texts I received from Lex between November of...
The juice. Boys, put your bib on because the juice is about to run down your front.
Last year and February of this year. "Good luck tonight, Matt. Heart emoji. I'm in Nashville, but I'd like to try to come to a show before tour is over. We should have a cookout when we're all back in town to celebrate."
Bro.
I said, "Thank you. We'll party hardy soon." On December 17th, "Guess who lives like 5 minutes away from you now? It's me. Hope you're having a good day." I say, "No way. For real? Where at? Are you standing outside my door?" She hit me up a couple days later, said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm back in Charleston right now. What about you?" Then she hit me up the next day, said, "I got really stoned and forgot to reply, LMAO. I hope you have a good time with your family. Also, congrats on 1 mil. The next day I replied and said, "Thank you."
No.
Then on my birthday, she texted me, "Happy birthday, Matt. I love you. Hope your day is great." I thought that after I apologized to her last July, things had smoothed out, and I think you could see why I would think that. But that communication ceased around the time that we fired Leighton, who is a close friend of hers. So this next stuff is stuff that I...
The implication. He's implying her motivation and the turning point is Leighton being fired. So it's nothing to do with anything she said it is. It's just Leighton being fired. Holy shit. This is spicy. He should have started this video at like the 20-minute mark. Just cut out all that first part of shit. If he's going to go in on her this hard, you just skip the first bit. Yeah. So she was super ultra friendly. He fires Leighton, her friend. Bam! Suddenly it's a problem. Uh-oh.
The first thing is that in her video, Lex accused me of calling My friend Daniel, who passed away from suicide in 2015, a coward on multiple occasions. This really hurt to hear because this is simply untrue. I have no recollection of ever opening up to Lex about my friend's suicide. You know that there are a lot of complex and confusing emotions that come with the grief regarding suicide. Some of those include anger, and if I ever expressed that to Lex, which again I firmly believe that I did not, if that's the case, then I find it wildly inappropriate that Lex would use something I said in a very vulnerable state to weaponize and to make me look worse. The second thing is that Lex brought up personal details about my personal relationships and sex life. It had nothing to do with the main point of the video, and it dragged people into the situation that did not consent to having their story told to hundreds of thousands of people, and now they are hurting because of that. Anyway.
True. She violated the privacy. Even though it's about stuff he did, she violated the privacy of his partners, I guess. Right?
I'm not here to slam Lex. I just wanted to address those 2 points because I felt that they were important.
I'm not here to slam Lex is just impossible to avoid because she's such scum that if you ever say something true, it'll be in contradiction to whatever she said.
Again, I wish that...
I'm not here to slam Lex. That's Don's job.
I could do the entire... So I was just talking about personal details being unnecessarily mentioned and weaponized to make me look worse. And unfortunately, more people have jumped on that bandwagon. One of those people being Morgan, aka Morg Pie. For some background, in August 2022, when I was single...
Oh, she's called Morg Pie because her name's Morgan? I thought it was like Morgue pie. Like corpse fucking.
I sexted with her for one night and ultimately slept with her for 2 nights in September when she was visiting Los Angeles. During our hookups, I explicitly stated to Morgan that this was a hookup and that I had just gotten out of a relationship and I was not looking for anything, and this is something she acknowledged. I actually brought this up.
Was it true that he just gotten out of a relationship? If it is, that means they're just dropping goss that he slept with someone.
After she left LA to go back home, I could tell that she had caught some feelings and I did not want to put her on. Okay. So I began to kind of distance myself and started dating my current girlfriend. And I talked to Morgan even less after this. We stopped communication. I didn't feel like it was appropriate.
Hey Matt, I have a question for you if you have a sec. Yeah, what's up? I was wondering if you're interested in hanging out again. I'm planning another LA trip. We're kind of going through it right now. So I don't want to pressure you or anything. You can be honest if you're not into me anymore. I'm down to hang. Full disclosure, I've been working things out with so-and-so. Damn, okay, sorry, a lot's been happening, but I really like you and want to hang. Love to see you as friend.
The relationship I had was primarily sexual. We pretty much lost all contact after I started dating my current girlfriend, and I figured that that was normal, and that's kind of just what is the typical life cycle of a hookup. I was very surprised to hear what Morgan had to say on stream, considering last month in June, we had a very pleasant conversation where we tied up any loose ends and smoothed everything out. And I'm going to share that conversation. Morgan reached out to me on June 8th and said, "Hey, Matt, hope you're doing well." I said, "Hey, I've been doing okay. Been really..."
The Vince McMahon on his chair gif, leaning further and further back.
She replies with, "Yeah, man, I'm excited, but yeah, just thought I'd check up on you because even though things got a little weird, I'll always care about you, dude. Hope you have a great tour, too." I respond with, "I appreciate it, and I'm sorry things got a little weird. I'm not very good at navigating stuff, and when I got in a relationship shortly after, I wasn't sure how to not be awkward about it. I care about you, too, and I don't feel weird at all about things or about you." She said, "Yeah, I kind of know what happened, LOL, people talk, but cool, man, I'm glad things aren't weird." I said, "Same, glad it's not weird. I feel a lot better now, LOL." She said, "Me too, I hate loose ends." And I said, "Same, they bother me so much, LOL, and for clarity, I never felt bad or negative about it." So
she characterized this as tidying up loose ends. It's not just him talking about it. She straight up said it was tidying up loose ends.
I just didn't know how to not be awkward after a hookup. I'm not really a hookup person, especially since I'm in a relationship now. Sorry for my awkwardness. Glad we're all good. Morgan replies with, "Yeah, I felt a bit sour about it, TBH, because I'm not really a hookup person either. Loki caught me with some feels and I felt pretty used afterwards, but..."
Bro, after this, she tries to turn around and bite him, knowing that he has texts from her where she tells him she caught feelings and felt used. She tried to snake him, knowing he had texts, receipts from her, saying explicitly she felt used. What a dumb fuck. What a fucking moron.
Morgan not only brought my current girlfriend into the situation on stream without her consent, she also name-dropped my girlfriend and revealed that we were in a relationship, which was not public information.
Oh, shit!
Morgan also brought my ex-girlfriend into the picture without her consent and has strongly hurt her because of this. She lied about conversations with my ex-girlfriend. She wrongly stated that I had been having a multiple...
Lied about conversations with the ex. So he's saying his ex was hurt. Presumably that means he's communicating with his ex. He also says, Morgpie lied about conversations with my ex, which presumably means he can get the ex to say, yes, she's lying. But why are these people? They're not even good at being evil. Why is Morg relevant? Because she fucked Matt twice.
She also lied about not knowing who my current girlfriend was because she did know who that was and she used it as a segue to name drop her. She also falsely claimed that I was cheating on my current girlfriend, which is not true. And for transparency, on day one of me dating my girlfriend, I informed her that I had recently slept with Morgan and she told me it was not an issue.
So he disclosed it to her. When he didn't need to do that. Good to do that, but he did do that, presumably, because the girlfriend would say no, he didn't. Or maybe he'd go along with it, at least, I don't know.
In June, where we smoothed things over, Morgan began hanging out with our ex-employee Leighton more, and I have not heard from her since that conversation until I saw her stream. Now,
I think, dude, is Leighton the mastermind? For real? For real. What I mean is, it's not just that he was connected to all of them and was like, oh, guys, I feel so bad, and then they decided to do stuff. Is he like Puppet Master Deluxe, pulling the strings?
If you're wondering why I'm bringing up Leighton again, I'm going to explain. Leighton Stollard has made some very serious accusations against me and Ryan.
The penis film. Leighton said they busted into the bathroom in their office when he was pissing, and they took photos of him, or at least a photo of his cock, and somewhere else at a bar they took a film of him. I think it was that way around. It was either a photo in the office bathroom without his consent, and a film at a bar without his consent, or it was film at office, photo at bar. I don't remember which way around it was.
We fired Leighton from working at SuperMega in March 2023, and since then, he has led a vindictive campaign to cancel us, to deplatform us, to ruin our image.
He is the mastermind.
Basically, we were not happy with his performance. He had been causing problems with his mood swings and outbursts at the office, as well as a general performance that we didn't like. We made the difficult decision to let him go. Leighton himself actually suggested leaving SuperMega prior to being terminated. So when he stated on stream that
he was masterminding it before he was fired, holy shit.
We were looking for any reason to fire him, this simply isn't true. Here is a text he sent to me and Ryan in the week leading up to his termination. I'm sorry I messed up so much with my position. It's not being harsh. I know it's the both of your company, and all of this makes the two of you look bad. I could step away from the merch stuff if you guys feel like I'm not doing enough for the role. I'm sorry I've messed up so much.
Remember, Leighton claimed to the public that he was doing his job, knocking it out of the park, and he also took on the job of a fucking producer at the same time. And then a stranger came in and said, damn, Leighton, you're great, fire Jackson. And then everyone clapped. That's Leighton's story. Meanwhile, in private, Leighton's like, I can't even keep the orders straight, I'm sorry. Fucking hell. The sheer stupidity. He sent these messages. He knows these receipts exist.
I'm really sorry to the both of you that I've caused so many internal issues plus public issues. No one else is messing up as much as I am, and especially when there's only 6 of us, I'm sure it really shows. I 100% understand if you guys are ready for me to leave SuperMega and let someone else take care of my responsibility.
If Leighton had balls before, now he doesn't. He's being castrated. Leighton is being digitally castrated at this very moment.
It's not fair to you two that I keep screwing up. I feel like I'm the new Jackson causing massive issues to the company rather than being an asset. I don't...
The secret meaning. There is secret lore to this. Remember when Leighton said he took on Jackson's job? He meant the job of fucking everything up. Ooh, deep.
But I'm willing to transfer to working from home or any other option so I can focus on the merge. So yes, as you can see, Leighton was aware of his performance and the issues that were taking place with his job, and we were not looking for any reason to fire him. We did not
So if you want to become a YouTuber, there's a very specific ritual. You need a blood transfusion. But if a YouTuber comes up your ass, it's like when a vampire feeds you his blood, right? And that happened to Leighton. So Leighton just became like a graphic designer, which is the like YouTuber version of being a ghoul.
Leighton's position fell under the classification of at-will employment in California. This means that we are able to fire him at any time for any reason. This does not include severance. However, we felt bad because this is not an ideal situation. So we decided to give him severance when he left. Severance is a very legal matter, which we didn't realize. It's not as easy as just writing a check and giving it to someone on the way out the door. We essentially had to contract an employment attorney specifically to do this. Here's an email with our lawyer explaining that. We gave Leighton $12,000 in severance, which he admitted on stream he wasn't even supposed to get, technically, but was...
So they're explaining, apparently, I presume he's going to say, here's my bet, the non-disparagement, and if there was an NDA, or if it wasn't just Leighton misspeaking, all that shit is going to be boilerplate, right? It wasn't them trying to puppet master him, it was probably just them not knowing what the fuck to do, and it was boilerplate. Holy fuck.
Still offended that it was only $12,000. For
Leighton made it sound like they made him sign a contract that consisted entirely of don't disparage us.
reference, in California, a typical severance package consists of 1 week's pay for every year the employee was with the company.
Bro, dude, 12K is like a year of my income, dude. More. It's more than an average year of my income, dog. True. 1,200, John. 1,200 pennies.
We gave Leighton 2 months of pay and told him that he could dictate the narrative of his departure, that we would not tell.
They said, Leighton, you can dictate the narrative of your departure. After 2 years, I'm moving on from SuperMega. We'll miss you, baby boy. Make sure you follow Leighton's Twitch and Patreon so you never miss a giggle. We're blocked. Yeah,
we were concerned at this point because in the months prior, someone who had been with Leighton and a group of his friends told us that he had been flaunting that if things ever went south with us, he could just easily cancel us. We actually brought this up to Leighton in a meeting that a reliable source had told us this. He swore that he never said that, and he swore that he would never do that. We were still wary after that.
No. Kuromizawa, Leighton did say he took severance and signed a contract because he was desperate, he said. He made it sound like the non-disparagement clause was like the primary thing that the contract was. He tried to suggest that the only reason they were paying him severance was to get him to sign a contract in return for money, whereas these guys are just saying, bro, we didn't understand what we had to do. We went to a lawyer and we're like, we want to give this guy money. We want to pay severance. What do we do? And the lawyer gave them just a standard thing to make him sign. That's their story. Do you remember in Leighton's video? I believe it was Leighton, correct me if I'm wrong. He said they just fucked me off. They didn't even set me up with a career. They didn't even help me launch my own podcast. That was Leighton, yes? They did. They gave him a shout out. They're not going to do the job for you. You have to do it and then utilize their shout out to get the attention. He said they didn't do anything to help him launch his own stuff. Yes, he said that, which is not true. Publicly not true, because they shouted him out.
So fast forward to Creator Clash 2023. On the day me and Ryan returned home, Leighton took to Twitter to accuse us of homophobia. We responded to Leighton and provided more context to situations that he had left context out of. Not only propagated a lot of the jokes that he claimed to be offended by, but he participated in the jokes. He even encouraged them. His tone changed completely the moment he was fired. And as proof of that, here are screenshots from several
Is he going to read it?
occasions where I made sure Leighton was comfortable with these types of jokes, to which he always replied yes, and even in one message said it would be weird if we stopped. In this message, Leighton says he sees no issues with the jokes. Here he says he feels more comfortable around us than anyone.
Oh, bro. Leighton was like, oh, they had meetings with me twice, but I felt like I had to say things were okay. This is a bit fucking more. Leighton, you dumb fuck. Leighton, you said all that knowing this exists. Is this slow scroll gonna hit Leighton's message where he says the F slur?
Leighton responds by saying, I love all the gay jokes you guys throw at me. And I said, you're a crucial member now. If they're ever too much, though, just tell us. And he said, I'm so fucking happy to hear that. I fucking love working with you guys. Nah, you guys have never offended me. I think Justin is nervous that it'll come off as homophobic, but I love you guys and the gay jokes. It would be weird
Bro.
if you guys held back.
He told them he'd be upset if they didn't. Leighton.
I jokingly said screenshotting all this to cover my ass, which he said LMAO to. Here's another instance where I said, also legit, if we're making too many gay jokes, please tell me. We're always fucking kidding, but I...
Let me censor this so he doesn't say it. We're making too many gay jokes. His response to saying, if we're making too many gay jokes, please tell me. We're always fucking kidding, but I get if it gets too much. To which Leighton responds, you sound like an F-slur right now. Bro, he needed to... Dude, he knew this existed! Leighton! Worst mastermind ever. To be clear, the person who wrote that word is gay, so he's allowed to write it, okay? And it would be wrong of me to censor that. It would be homophobic for me to censor it. Yeah, and indeed, Bunny, even if jokingly, they told him they were screenshotting it. What a dumb fuck.
Sexuality. Something to note is that while Leighton worked at SuperMega, he also accepted and held a full-time position at the merch company, which fulfilled our merch. So after Leighton's call-out post and after we posted our response, he was advised by his employer that starting shit publicly with one of the company's bigger clients was a bad look and a horrible business decision. Leighton made an agreement with his employer that he would not cause any further drama, but he was furious that he could not say more. Leighton was...
Wait! He signed a gag with someone else because he was fucking their business up talking about SuperMega? What?! And he didn't mention this? This is insane. This is insane. This is insane. This is insane. And he's the web linking all these fuckers together. Jesus Christ. No, Bunny. Matt is claiming he signed an agreement with the merch provider not to talk shit about SuperMega because him talking shit was affecting their business.
I later received anonymous screenshots that were leaked from a Discord server that's just dedicated to hating on SuperMega, the members of which created and spread horrible lies about my ex-girlfriend on Tumblr. They have harassed me for years. Some of them also write underage sexual assault fan fiction. These screenshots detailed the exact situation Leighton was in with his employer. That's how I knew that they were real, because I knew about this agreement, as well as a plan to get other people to speak out against us, so Leighton would then be free to cancel us himself. The Discord message reads as follows.
Did I just hear that right? Holy fuck!
Leighton works for a big merch company called, I'm going to go ahead and just censor the name, which he was working with while working for SuperMega. And when all the homophobia allegations came out, a big billionaire sponsor for said company told them that they need to drop SuperMega as a client and fire Leighton. Said company refused to fire Leighton and still kept SuperMega on as a client. If we can get SuperMega in enough hot water that the sponsor wants to drop them again without getting Leighton fired, then Leighton can come out and say whatever he wants about them.
It's literally a conspiracy. Now, the one weakness, the 1 week thread, okay? The 1 week thread, this is a Discord screenshot. This is an anonymous Discord screenshot. However, the knowledge demonstrated here shows that it's someone with intimate knowledge, which means this is real unless Matt made it up. Because this contains knowledge that Matt knows to be true, unless Matt literally fabricated this, it's real. Despite it having been posted anonymously, and we know it's real because of the information it includes, they'd only know if they had intimate knowledge, right?
We just need a piece of gossip that's a big enough deal that a sponsor will want to drop SuperMega. Our friend is friends with Too Mad, and Too Mad hates Matt, so he might have some dirt on him. Then another message reads, most importantly, that Leighton wants to cancel SuperMega, but he needs someone else to come forward first. Another thing is that Leighton somehow has one of Marvelous' screenshots of her conversations with Ryan, and was thinking about using that as leverage to cancel him, but it's not enough. And, Discord user, of course he needs your permission first. Will you be willing to come forward, even anonymously, with your experiences with Ryan? This is all from April, right after Leighton made his initial statement. And because I wondered if I'd ever have to use this, I emailed this to myself as evidence, which you can see in this video. I am opening up the email and showing the date as proof.
He has the email with date. He has it dated. Which means it's fucking real. Because if it's fake, he would never have fabricated it back then. He would have no knowledge that Leighton would do exactly this. Now, the burden of this being fake, the burden to prove this is fake is you have to say that Matt is literally psychic. You'd have to argue that Matt is psychic and knew what Leighton was going to do, so he fabricated that. No, it's real. It's real.
It soon proved true. Shortly after, one of Leighton's best friends, who is Lex's boyfriend, tried to instigate drama on Twitter by lying and saying that he has heard us say the N-word multiple times. In reality, we've only met this individual a handful of times, and it's mostly been at social events and always accompanied by Lex. So to think that we would just casually be dropping the N-word with a hard R in front of not only someone who's a stranger, but also a woman of color, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He also mentioned the Chuck E. Cheese joke, and I don't think it's a coincidence that a short time before he posted this stuff, Leighton replied to a tweet about SuperMega with a gif of Chuck E. Cheese. Leighton denied that he even knew his friend was going to say anything or that Leighton was involved with this, but I think it's a little too coincidental. That didn't really go anywhere, and then after that, things were relatively quiet for a while. Leighton would frequently slander myself and Ryan to fans on his Discord server. He even went as far as to join a fan's 18-year-old birthday drunken Twitter space to shit-talk us. This stuff was creeping us out. And at this point, we were fully expecting more of Leighton's close friends to eventually speak out about us for one reason or another. And now a lot of them have. Now, I want to make something very clear. I am not downplaying Lex's situation with Dawn or her coming forward with that. I am in no way saying that her coming forward with the Dawn...
Yeah, but her buddy Leighton gets fired, talks about needing someone to come forward to shield him from consequences, and then she comes forward. Come on. Leighton is the guy they joked about shooting up the office. I think he may still do it yet.
However, there's a lot of other stuff that I think the dots can be connected. But after Lex came forward, Leighton wasted no time to go to Twitter to make her story about himself. People on Twitter even noticed this and they were quick to call it out. He finally had the freedom to...
Maybe that's why they're closing up shop. No office to shoot up. Smart. When Ryan said it's his final video, what he means is he's gonna anonymize and become a VTuber so that Leighton can't find him.
He did a 3-hour stream, so I'm not going to go into every point, obviously. It seems that he tried to throw anything and everything he possibly could think of.
We have 9 minutes 40 seconds left. We need this butthole measuring to be addressed. We have almost 10 minutes for the butthole measuring accusation to be addressed. Matt, you can't smooth over that. It's too funny. It's too funny.
Throughout the stream, Leighton portrays myself and Ryan as horrible monsters who mistreated Rav and Lex and commonly complained about them at the office. While it is true that we had complaints about their extended stay at our office, Leighton was no stranger to complaining about this with us, and there are...
Oh my fucking God. I mean... if I had a free home, I'd take vacations all the time on that rent money. I told them to be out by mid-August. That's Leighton saying that about Lex and Rav. Holy fuck! That's the bitchiest thing I've heard about them. I told them to be out by mid-August. I had a serious convo about it. What's another month gonna hurt or two? We might as well let them stay until Christmas. Jim, why would you make people move out before the holidays? It does seem a bit cruel. I'll give them a talk today. Leighton says, tell them no more weed until a lease is signed. They'll lose it. He's not a mastermind. He's just a snake. He's just an endless snake. True, also, this is Jim talking about giving them a move-out date. True. I think Lex does mention mid-August, but says that by the time that came up, they'd already decided to leave, so it didn't matter. Something like that. Leighton said, tell them no more weed until a lease is signed, they'll lose it. Rav just told me they've been loading the car for this trip since 1 a.m. Bro, how does it take 10 hours to put a backpack in a car? Leighton, you could have been one of the good guys. Leighton, you could have everyone liking you, dude. You were supposed to bring balance to the force. Leighton, what have you become?
Even text to show that he was frustrated and complained just as much as us. Leighton also said that we repeatedly made him uncomfortable by exposing ourselves to him around the office. It's true that we did do a lot of...
Hold up. If he says butthole measuring, I'm going to die. I will die live on stream if he says it's true we did a lot of butthole measuring.
Crude jackass-style bits around the office.
Okay, fine, whatever.
But if Leighton ever felt uncomfortable by any of that, he never showed it, and he never brought it up. I find it a little ironic that he complained about this. Considering, for example, in December, we were recording a podcast when he came in unannounced and showed us his cock and balls.
In late 20s,
On date! Oh!
Whoa!
Somebody's putting on
Do you see his balls?
Leighton, you want to come take a seat?
I don't think it's appropriate for the podcast. You want to wrap?
Wait, did they cut this? Leighton claimed they took pictures of his cock and balls. Leighton is known to expose himself to them. Well, that claim of his is fucked. Unless he can produce evidence now that they took a picture of him when he wasn't actively exposing himself to them. I don't know. Oh my god. Back in my day, catching these people out used to be hard. Figuring out what was really going on, catching these people used to be hard. Tripping them up, finding contradictions. You used to have to do some digging. What the hell is this?
Another huge accusation that he made is that we love to toss around the N-word.
It seems like it's all going to be Leighton from now on. They need to address the bust into the toilet and take a picture.
And I know that a lot of the jokes we made were very questionable and offensive, but now pushing 30, we have grown a lot and know that that is not acceptable, and that word is never being used between us in any context. The Chuck E. Cheese joke is real, but the joke was that you can't say his middle name. It's a really stupid joke. It's not even funny. The joke is based on the trivia fact where people are like, do you know what Chuck E. Cheese's middle name actually is, what the letter stands for? It's such a horrible word, you can't say it, and it's shocking. We have never said the actual word when doing that joke. That's not even funny. And we've even done this joke on the channel in Let's Plays. It's not something we've...
Bro. Siffy, I operate differently. If I bully him and the way I do it is funny, I will always feel good about it. You have misunderestimated me, George Bushley.
It was even stated on Leighton's stream that I had asked Jim to get a house and move in with my current girlfriend so I could sneak over and have sex with her under the guise that I was just meeting up with a coworker. You know, because I live by myself and there's definitely nowhere I could have sex. It's just an absolutely ridiculous, weird claim.
Yeah, true, nonsense.
Eventually, Leighton ended his monetized stream with a self-promo and immediately took to Twitter to gloat about our downfall. You guys know that this is not my style, and I did not want to have to dedicate a section of this video responding to Leighton in the way I'm doing so, but with what he has said publicly about me, I have no choice but to respond. I'm asking that people use their common sense, and I hope that people can see that there is a personal vendetta. To end this video, I want to say that I don't expect people to watch this and uncancel me. I don't expect people to flip back over to my side. Do not harass anyone that was mentioned in this video. I'm not sending any harassment.
Is Lego people right? Oh, what is it? What do they say? No copyright infringement intended under their video. No harassment intended. If you're genuinely concerned, you have to not make the goddamn video, dude. Just bite the bullet and go, whatever, not my problem.
When accusations like these are publicly made, it's fully within my right to be able to respond and defend myself and provide context.
I will defend myself.
A lot of people, mainly Leighton and his close friends, have used this as an opportunity to capitalize off of what was initially someone's story of sexual assault and quickly devolved into a dogpile on me and Ryan.
No, this is a This is a scuffed meta-narrative. The vast bulk of Lex's video is about you guys, and actually really nothing to do with the sexual assault. She has a two hour and change long video. The majority of what Lex is talking about is not the sexual assault. That's a very, very, very tiny, ultimately unimportant part of it, really. If you evaluate what she's complaining about and what she's really got stuck in her craw, that doesn't seem to give much of a fuck about it. What she thinks she deserves because it happened, sure. The assault itself, nah. And guess what? She thought she deserved a lot from you guys.
Overall, I would like for people to understand that this situation is not entirely black and white. There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of personal feelings involved on all sides. The internet is very quick to pick sides with this kind of stuff and very hesitant to budge.
Shut up.
But I hope that with the additional context I've provided...
I hate him. He should go to jail. I think he was actually dressed up as Don and attacked her. If you put this disclaimer in a video, you're a 0 IQ demon alien person in a skin suit. I'm sorry, but it's true.
I am not expecting forgiveness or redemption. I messed up when it came to Lex with the Dawn situation.
You addressed it with her and she accepted it. And then she lied about that happening. You can't... Don't let her fucking undo what's happened and undo the lies she's told. Dude, you dropped the receipts on her. You nuked her, bro. Coward.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Shut up.
And I hope you all take care.
Final Fantasy 15 was a mediocre disappointment. Dude, this super eye patch wolf guy, he just keeps speaking truth to power.
Start this video out.
Okay, it's from 4 years ago. Oh god, the comments. I really think you guys need some kind of HR. True. Julia Schultz, amazing first sentence. I'm glad that you responded this way. Okay. I'm so proud of you for not trying to defend your wrongdoings, genuinely. The only thing he didn't defend was the thing he already apologized to her for. But I don't get people not getting this. He already apologized, she already accepted it. And then he defended himself from the tiny sliver of her video is that they didn't deal with it well enough. He says, basically, I did the right thing, but I didn't do it fast enough. That is implicitly saying she's wrong because that wasn't her complaint about how they dealt with it, right? Then it goes on to be, post their attempt to deal with it, they never addressed mishandling it or never apologized, never came to her, and that they tried to pressure her into not speaking. They killed that, and then they killed all the other petty stuff. There's like one kernel in her video that stands, and then it just gets stepped on by an iron boot when she lies about how they addressed it with her after not dealing with it in the way she wanted. Sorry, nuked. People saying Matt is defensive by showing receipts confuse me. Who's saying that? Oh, I mean, Don could be a violent rapist. We don't know. I mean, it could be completely true what she said. However, that's not really important to 99.9% of this. No one is beyond redemption, especially if the apology is genuine. He overwhelmingly was on the attack in this video. He said, yeah, we could have done it better. That's it. That's actually the only real apology part. Everything else is bitches lying, bitches lying, bitches lying, bitches lying, this guy's lying, this guy's lying, this guy's lying, endlessly. What was the Omega receipt? How much of this is Leighton? There's the Rav tricking them. Yeah, post the call, she says this. So this call is primarily what they're apologizing for, right? This call where they like ask her what she wants done, and then they go on to fire him but too slow, and so on and so forth. They also demonstrate that she was asking for things that contradict what she said she was upset they didn't do, right? She told them not to make it a big deal, and now she's complaining that they didn't post about it. His concession is that the degree to which they mishandled it is they didn't fire or suspend him fast enough. No, that is a grain of sand. He dropped a beach on them and then is like, this grain of sand? Yeah, could have done that better. All right, we got through that stuff pretty fast. There's no way Lex uploaded a video. I don't believe you. Yeah, I lied. Obviously. You watched the Lex video with a friend last night, and he wanted me to see this comparison. Oh no! Oh.